I'm Toby Drummond, I'm an ACM tutor and it's the International Jazz Day. So the best thing about jazz music for me is, as a discipline from the drum perspective first off, it's quite a technically advanced genre to play. And I love the fact that when you watch, if I refer to some UK players, Mark Fletcher being one, Mark Parnell, Sebastian de Krom, Ralph Salmons or Mike Smith, any of those particular guys, they have such a fantastic ear for everything that's going on musically, but also their internal dynamic. Specifically with jazz is so important. The textures, the kind of four-way independence with limbs, that everything is set at a different dynamic and their internal dynamic is so fine-tuned. For me, that is one of the special things about the genre. You can go all the way back. We can look at certain concepts that have come from that for drummers that are very, very important. The motor concept being one, and all the great players. I think also, this is going to sound random, the relationship of tap and dance and so on with swing, choreographers like Bob Fosse. I'm going down a theatre route, but again, with the swing genre, Guildford has Como, the venue, which has some of the greatest UK players playing there on a regular basis. It's just basically, it's something that in contemporary colleges it tends to be a dirty word, the jazz police, and it's also one of the areas that really exposes a lot of players for all their weaknesses. And for me, Bob Armstrong, when I went and studied with Bob, taught me how to understand jazz and how to connect with it, stylistically, musically and technically. So an incredibly important genre for all sorts of development. My favourite jazz musician, if we go down the jazz drummers, I think in the UK, and I'm only going to refer to UK because we never talk about UK players, Mike Smith is my favourite UK jazz drummer. He does play everything, but predominantly he's, without doubt, for me, the greatest that we have. Mike Smith, Neil Wilkinson, Ralph Salmons, but Mike Smith. My favourite jazz setup would be Buddy Rich's setup, basically, the big band setup. And when we're talking about swing, I think with setups it's very different. If we're playing in a quartet or a trio or a big band, then we would have kind of different setups accordingly. 3 tips for any young drummer starting to play swing would be, if you study with Bobby Armstrong, for instance, the first thing he does is he will just make you play a quarter note at 50 BPM. And I did that for about 2 months. It's like the Karate Kid of playing. If you can make a quarter note feel good, or the interpretation behind a quarter note, and then put all the other elements around that, then you technically are heading the right way. So swing, really getting beneath the triplet, understanding four-way independence. And for me, again, one of the key areas if you're looking to become a good or competent jazz player is also to use the 5th element of playing, start to introduce your voice. So it's 5-way independence. So sing the melodic lines, sing the phrasings, whilst being able to comp and so on, so that things have more of a, it's just simple 5-way independence. Very, very important.